Hi, parents. I am Mrs. Donoghue. I'm your student's English teacher. Welcome to the weird world of hybrid learning. This is the angle that many of your students see me from during the course of the day. Being hybrid, we have a lot of lessons going virtual for them. I'm doing my absolute best to keep them entertaining and to try and keep the class pace and the class excitement level just about what they were pre-coronavirus. Obviously, we have a couple of different things going on this year, but essentially for back to school night, I want to try to make it feel as normal as we can. So, hi, I'm Mrs. Donoghue, and I am a Monmouth Regional lifer. I graduated here in 2006, and I've lived here my whole life. We just moved, actually, so I grew up in Tinton Falls. My husband and I lived in Brick, but we just bought a house in Eatontown, and we moved in, so we're like official lifers now. We're going to be here a long time. I have two small humans of my own, and because I think I am certifiably insane, we just added a puppy to the mix. So you'll understand, and I understand you, that the parent/school struggle is a very real struggle. Trying to make sure that my 4-year-old has enough to do, that my 7-month-old's not needing mommy. It's a real balancing act, especially because to provide videos, you have to eventually find time to make them, which is often a struggle when you're trying to do everything else. In terms of what we're teaching this year, you have me for either AP Comp or Junior English. If you have me in Junior English, there's a chance you have me with Miss McKean as well. I also work extremely closely with Mrs. Nappy, who's the other Junior English teacher. She and I grew up essentially together. She was really good friends with my brother, so I've known her since she was in middle school. And we're very similar in how we approach a lot of topics. So we like working on the same kind of curriculum together. It keeps the kids in general kind of moving forward at similar paces with all of their friends. Junior year is obviously the year of the research paper, and currently research paper is still on the table for both AP Comp and for Junior English. Those are graduation requirements, so you can't get credit in the class without completing and passing those papers. I'd never have any fear about kids failing. We make everything very accessible to students. We make sure that kids have enough help, that they have enough guidelines, and I'm not worried about virtual learning impacting that at all. So trust me, we're going to be okay. For the juniors, the nice thing about it is that there is open selection on their topic, as long as it falls under the guideline of what does it mean to be American. And frankly, almost anything can fit under that category. The juniors are in American literature, and being that they're in American literature, we spend a lot of time talking about the country, their thoughts on it, their values. It's an election year, and it's going to make that conversation even more intriguing. They are growing up, and it's really important for them to start kind of analyzing a lot of things. One thing I always make sure to tell them is that I don't want to see 25 or 26 kids parroting back at me the same things I say to them. I don't need them trying to figure out what I think the right answer is. What I'm most interested in is them becoming analytical thinkers all on their own, and learning how to support their own opinions. Honestly, at the end of junior year, what frequently happens is that the students come up to me and they just go, I'm so happy that, we did the research paper together, and I learned how to have those opinions. So I have a lot of confidence that we're going to have the same experience again, where by the end of the year, the kids are really excited about all of the new ways that they've learned to analyze things. In terms of AP Comp, their research paper is going to be on the book A Night to Remember, which is about the Titanic. AP Comp's a little different than your standard English class. 1, it's a College Board AP class. 2, there's a possibility to get Seton Hall University credit. More on that coming soon. I just have to confirm the Seton Hall registration code. And lastly, it's not a literary analysis class, it's a writing class. The kids are going to learn the bare bones basics of writing and then escalate that from basic to advanced. So if you ever wanted your kid to become a much better essay writer, to really know how to write and why they do the things they do when they write, this is the perfect class for them. Students sometimes struggle with that adjustment. It's not the way they've approached essays and books before. So usually the first couple months are them just adjusting their own expectation set about it. However, by the end, most of them feel that they've exponentially improved, and we have a very good return rate on those AP exams. For my money, you should take both the AP test and the Seton Hall credit because they are very affordable options for getting yourself ahead in college credit. Regular juniors, you could take AP Comp as a senior elective if your writing is kind of up to the task of getting into the AP level. Things that you should know about me as a teacher for either preparation, for either AP Comp or for juniors, is that I've taught college English. I have my master's in English. I'm a professional English nerd. Like, this is all I love. My English master's is different than most teachers who get their master's degree in guidance or principal certification or supervision. I just like to know more about books all the time. In general, my area of expertise is usually around Shakespeare and old literature, which is weird because I managed to get kids to really like studying old, stale literature. Don't worry, we're going to take a little look at Crucible in the regular junior year, potentially a little bit of Scarlet Letter, and my kids generally really like how we approach it. The other things that you should know is that I'm a gigantic nerd. I run a little lunchtime with Mrs. D Google Classroom because a lot of my nerds miss having lunch with me and talking about Marvel movies for an hour straight. So I am providing that to them via YouTube, the way that I'm providing this to you via YouTube. So they can look up different discussion videos I have, and I posted them on a Google Classroom. And I really miss having regular discussions with my little nerdy kids about our little nerdy news. I am so excited that it seems like we might actually get real movies back. Might be able to see Black Widow in a movie theater. That'd be exciting. Other than that, my hope for the year is that we all work together to sort of make this as normal and functional as we can. I am under no illusions that this is a weird school year. I say it all the time. It feels weird. It feels weird to have only a few of them in the room. It feels weird that they're so spaced out. My room was never quite this regimented. We always had cluster seating. We always had pods and groupings, and everyone's so spread out. When they're here, it feels so odd to me that I have to keep going like this and looking for them everywhere. In terms of my expectation for what they do, one, please understand that there will always be, obviously the ability to make up work given on circumstances. So if they have to stay home because they don't feel well, there's always the availability for me to help them make up that work somehow. Please reach out to me. Every day, teachers are required to have daily extra help from 140 to 240. And I made a spare Google Classroom just for such an occasion so that there was one spot the kids could all go to regardless of which class they were in, and they can find me. So I'm more than happy to help them catch up on anything or answer any questions they have. Also, let me know about any tech problems you might be having. Do you have Wi-Fi issues? Are the kids doing this on their phone? Are they not? We should have had laptops handed out to everybody. We're 1 for 1. There's a weird advantage to having me in that my classroom was predominantly digital already, and a lot of what I do was already orchestrated, being 80-90% digital. So I'm more familiar with it than some teachers who are learning it for the first time since the spring, like it was the first time they had gone digital. That doesn't mean that we don't encounter problems. Please let me know, and I'm always happy to try and figure out a solution for you or to get you in touch with whoever can help you. I'm not afraid of asking questions, and I'm never bothered to answer questions. It's one of the things I love best, actually. I love it when the kids ask me weird and random questions. So never be worried about reaching out. For parents, I have one, you can always get invited to the Google Classroom. Your students can invite you or I can invite you. But also I made a Remind app, not just for students, but also one just for parents. The reason I did Remind is that I started hearing feedback from parents that, if there was only a way to text, I might be able to manage this a little better because it's hard to be on the phone or be on my email for you when I'm on my email for work or when I'm Zooming for work. So the Remind app goes through your phone and comes up like a text message. If you text at Mama Said 1 to 81010, you should be able to register for my Remind. I will be putting that out again to the students for them to tell you. They have a Remind for each class that I can send alerts to them as well, saying, hey, a new assignment posted. Hey, don't forget that we have a quiz tomorrow. I try very hard to make all the information as transparent as I can. So again, if you ever have a question, don't be afraid to ask. I'm always happy to answer. The only thing I think students would need in terms of supplies this year are headphones. Buy them cheap headphones. Do not let them tell you that we requested Beats or AirBuds or something like that. Just cheap headphones that are compatible with the computer they have. There's a lot of times where we're pushing videos out, and it's daunting and distracting to have 4 or 5 of the same video playing at slightly different sound checks in the room. When they're home alone in their own rooms, I'm sure it's not an issue, but here in the room, that is a mild problem we run into. Besides that, if they wanted to have a folder to organize any spare handouts that they do get, we're limiting to the point of almost eliminating handouts. But there are a time or two where they might have something in hard copy. Somewhere to store that would be useful, though almost nothing I give them isn't available digitally as well. I really just want the kids to feel comfortable and happy. I want them to feel like they are working towards something difficult without it feeling like they're overwhelmed. I want them to feel challenged without feeling exhausted. And that's how I try to organize the level of work we do. Students frequently give me feedback that I integrate, so never be afraid to give me feedback on what we're doing. In terms of what we're reading this year, AP Comp, there's actually on Wednesday our first INCOL blood quiz, and then we have another one in another week. The students will then get A Night to Remember, which is their research paper book. That's not due until about December. I'll put out the final date for it. And then they have Good Night and Good Luck, which is not until the spring. For juniors, I haven't assigned all the books for the year because I usually like doing one at a time and seeing how the kids react to it. But they're doing either Native Son or Bluest Eye. They're doing research paper. They always do Gatsby, and it usually is fairly popular. But I'm also trying to see if we can include Crucible or not at the beginning portion of the year. One of the interesting technology things we're running into is something like Crucible should be viewed, so it should be a movie. Reading, it's okay, but it's a play. You should watch it. It's really hard to find a version that we can stream. So we're going to work on how to do that because there are different copyright issues using different forms of it. If we have to adjust this year, we have to adjust. I like telling you guys the process that we go through. I think it helps you understand where we're coming from. And I always like knowing if you guys have any similar struggles on your end. It helps me know where you're coming from. I really love my job. I miss my job being normal. I miss just having the kids in the room and interacting with them more. My lively, bubbly self does not know what to do with all of its energy sitting here on a chair staring at a computer screen. It's difficult as an adjustment because normally my effusive energy is what keeps them awake and invested. And I don't know if I seem quite so bubbly over the camera, but I am trying. I hope sincerely we all return to a regular normal as opposed to a new normal very soon. Please email me with any concerns, questions, comments, recipes. Always looking for a good, easy weeknight recipe. And if you need me for anything, I'm available to you. Parents, I hope we have a fun time this year. And I hope we only talk to each other for good reasons. Have a great night and breathe. We're all going to get through this. It's going to be fine.